I don't think that the rap fans are going to turn on Travis Scott, but I do think that it's going to present some problems with him with like the brand side of things. Or even, I was thinking, even him dropping an album, like, can he drop that album a year from now?
I see what you're saying. Right, because he went from a McDonald's Travis Scott meal, the most sought after Nike collab, pretty much of the era.
And the crazy thing about it is how the stuff that made you cool and edgy and fun to your audience, like him being this rager dude and him posting pictures of people knocked out at his shows or him encouraging people to riot, all this kind of stuff. All that shit looks so bad once something absolutely horrible happens, and now all that shit's being used against him. So it's like now it's almost like he has to sort of like reinvent his character in a certain sense, because if he comes out really like saying the same sort of like energy, then people are going to look at him like encouraging the kind of stuff that happened at that show. It's just going to be like an incredibly tricky thing for him to navigate. And this is for somebody who's pretty much like flawlessly executed their brand image proposition throughout their career. It's like,
like I said, Travis Scott is at the top of the totem pole. And then when you go and throw in the whole Kylie Jenner in the mix as well, which then elevated his brand that much more.
Yeah.
There was very few human beings that were on his level. And now he's really looked at as the person responsible for 9 deaths.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that he is responsible, but it's all depends on how you look at it, right? Obviously, the families are probably going to hold him responsible.
That's the scary thing, is like there's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars worth of lawsuits. And I'm sure most of the liability doesn't fall on him. Probably more like the promoters and stuff, but definitely some of it's going to fall on him. It's going to just be years and years drawn out legal battle. And, I've been open on my podcast in the past, basically saying that I don't really like his music and I was never a big fan of him. But I mean, I feel terrible for the guy. But that being said, I feel like if anybody could wiggle their way out of it, I mean, it's probably going to be him.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like his music. I'll be honest. I'm not like the biggest fan, but I when he drops a project, I listen to it. I mean, I listen to every song. I listen to all his features. I like him. He's a weird one to me because I don't really consider him like a rapper. Right. He's really more of sort of like
I don't think I can remember anything he ever said. Ever.
Does there any quotables?
It's just he just never did it for me. I'm just not really into it. And it's weird because I remember in the early days of Travis Scott, the rap on him was like, he's an asshole. He's like people just his whole reputation amongst people I knew was that he's an asshole and he's a copycat, because there was so many ad libs that he took from people early on and stuff. The straight up thing, like he just took Future's ad lib and rolled with it, and it just worked, and nobody really like called him out on copying and shit. But that's why it's so amazing to me to see the level that he's gotten to in his career. Where like, did you see this viral TikTok of his like ex-manager talking about how he was the one who bought Travis all his early plays and Twitter followers and shit like that, which I remember hearing about that back in the day. Like, oh, all his numbers are fake. They did the social media audit of his Twitter followers. That shit's all fake. But at a certain point, the music just started hitting and none of that shit mattered.